It is 10 a.m. and we will now open the public hearing for Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District's Heat and Power Facilities Improvements Plan. This meeting was noticed in accordance with Wisconsin state statute with an affidavit of publication available as an exhibit. For this public hearing, the project team will present information on the facilities plan. We will then open the hearing to comments from the public. Any members of the public joining us virtually should message the host to let them know they want to comment. Commenters are asked to state their name before speaking and keep their comments to no more than 3 minutes. With that, I will turn it over for the presentation.
Good morning. My name is Anna Uric-Stefanko. I'm a project engineer here at the district, and I will give a presentation on the Heat and Power Improvements Facilities Plan. So for the agenda, I'm going to talk a little bit about a project background, how the project was initiated. I'm going to go over an overview for the existing heat and power infrastructure, which I'll talk about the alternatives that were evaluated, and then talk about the recommendations that were based on the comprehensive evaluation. And I'm going to finalize the presentation with the next steps related to the project. So in 2021, the district completed the 2020 Energy Management Master Plan. This plan focused on the energy sector and also the aging infrastructure that needs updates. In this plan, 2 key alternatives were identified for facilities planning, and those were, number 1, to upgrade the cogeneration engines with higher efficiency ones, and number 2, to convert biogas to renewable natural gas for pipeline injection. So why the facilities planning? Well, facilities plan is a comprehensive report that it's required by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and especially it's required for projects that intend to apply for the Clean Water Fund loan. The facilities plan reports on the condition assessment, on needs for improvement, presents different alternatives and evaluates them, and also recommends the most cost-effective option. In June 2024, Carollo Engineers was selected and awarded the contract to provide engineering professional services with Strand Associates as a subconsultant. So the project workflow for this project can be divided in a couple of steps. The first thing was to decide on the decision-making criteria, and they can be separated in a couple of categories. Those are financial, operation and maintenance, implementation, and other. And the list of the decision-making criteria that were used were a capital cost, life cycle cost, operational complexity difficulty, operational response risk and uptime, future site flexibility, market risk, energy recovery, and outside dependence. The second step throughout the project was to look at the energy baseline. The energy baseline was detailed in the 2020 Energy Management Master Plan and looked at the data was the electrical use, biogas use, and natural gas use. And this data was compared to the current consumption of the district, and it was identified that there are no significant changes impacting the energy use at the Nine Springs wastewater treatment plant since the completion of the 2020 Energy Management Master Plan. The next step was to look at the biogas production and the thermal demand projections for the project. These 2 tables represent the summarized data. So the first table, the biogas production, shows the data in cubic feet per day of production. We can see if we look at the column under the baseline that it's projected that the production will increase throughout the year of 2050. We also looked at other options if we would add hauled waste and thermophilic digestion, and those 2 options would positively affect the production. We can also see projected increase. Under the thermal demand projections, we have similar data. So looking at the current total demand and the future total demand, we see that the projections were also intend to increase. The next step in the project workflow was to look at the existing infrastructure evaluation. This plan view of the plant infrastructure presents the biogas assets or biogas infrastructure. Denoted with green are digesters where biogas is produced. Denoted with the blue circle is the biogas storage. And then looking at the red squares is the engine blower and 2 engine generators. Those are the end-use equipment, together with the boilers that are also the end-use equipment as well. So the current system that we have at the district, we can look at through the simplified process flow diagram. Starting from the left, biogas is produced in the digesters, goes through the digester gas treatment system to remove hydrogen sulfide, moisture, siloxane, and volatile organic carbons before it's being distributed in 2 engine generators, engine blower, and also the hot water boilers. During the season of lower biogas consumption or increased production, biogas can be diverted to the waste gas burner. This is the existing building heat source map. It's also a plan view of the plant. So the red color denotes buildings that are currently served by the hot water. And we have 3 main loops that are connecting all these buildings. So this is the east loop, denoted with the green color, central loop with the purple, and the west loop with the blue color. Buildings and tunnels denoted with the dark gray color are currently not served by the hot water. Going further with the operational issues that we looked at, they were identified and documented, and it's important to say that these issues make the system inefficient and difficult to operate. Some of the examples are that we have pressure issues at the gas conditioning skid. The hot water pipes are undersized, and there's no capability of distributing the water throughout the site. The engine generators and engine blower are at the end of their expected life. And also the radiators of the engines are undersized, and they have decreased cooling capacity. The images on the right side present some of the conditional assessment. There is heavy corrosion, leaking pumps, and heavy mineral buildups that also contribute to the already mentioned operational issues. The further step in the project was to evaluate different alternatives to make the system better. We looked at the 3 main alternatives: the null pathway, which means to maintain the existing operations with no major changes; pathway 1, whether to keep the same system, just to upgrade the cogeneration engines with new ones; and pathway 2, completely to switch to a different system and upgrade the biogas system to produce renewable natural gas for pipeline injection. We also looked at if the heating system would be better to stay centralized and compared it to the decentralized system. So for pathway 1, cogeneration, this is a simplified process flow diagram. It is very similar to what the district has now. So biogas is produced in the digester. It goes through the digester gas treatment system. In this case, under pathway 1, it would be a completely new equipment before it's being distributed to the end-use equipment. The main difference here is that the engine blower would be decommissioned, and 2 engine generators would be replaced with the new ones that have the higher efficiency and also the higher output. Hot water boilers would also be served by biogas. The excess produced biogas could be rerouted to the waste gas burner. Looking at the plan view of the plant, we can see that the new location of the new buildings and facilities, the cogeneration building and the new gas treatment system would be located next to the Struvite harvesting building, and it's denoted with the red square. Just for reference, the green color circles represent the digesters where the biogas is produced. This is a representation of the centralized building heat source map. It's very similar to what we have now. The difference is only that buildings that are denoted with the yellow colors, the buildings and tunnels, it's proposed that will be added to the hot water loops. The east, central, west loop and the buildings that are In red, they are currently served by the hot water. This is the proposition for the decentralized building heat source map. So buildings denoted with the dark red color are buildings to remain on the heating hot water system. Buildings denoted with the light red color are proposed to remain on the heating hot water system. And buildings denoted with the gray colors are buildings that would move to an alternate heating source. Looking at the pathway 2, renewable natural gas, this is a simplified process flow diagram. There's a significant change in this system. So starting from the left side, biogas would still be produced in the digesters and would go to a very sophisticated digester gas upgrading system with multiple membrane steps. It is important to say that biogas going through this system and after the treatment would have the same quality equivalent to the natural gas. Biogas, treated gas would then be routed through the interconnect facility, used for decompressing gas and checking for the quality before it's being injected in the natural gas pipeline. There will be also an option to reroute the RNG that doesn't meet the specification to the waste gas burner. And also there would be an option to use initially produced biogas in the hot water boilers, although this would be not the primarily use. It is intended that all of the biogas goes through the treatment system for pipeline injection. This is a simplified example, the plan view, where would be the new location of the new facilities and buildings. So similarly as Pathway 1, the interconnect facility and the RNG building are intended to be located next to the Struvite harvesting building. And the plan for the proposition to inject treated gas is on the northwest side of the plant into the proposed natural gas line, MG&E natural gas line, which is denoted with the cyan or light blue color. Looking at the building heat source map, the centralized and decentralized options, they are exactly the same as in Pathway 1, but it is important to emphasize that Pathway 2, renewable natural gas option, does not recover any heat because there are no cogeneration engines burning biogas, and that would be supplemented with the alternate heating source. This table represents the cost for all of the alternatives. Looking at the capital cost estimate presented in $2028, we can see that the cost ranges for the new pathway a little bit over $4 million, with the highest cost for the Pathway 1 centralized alternative, a little bit over $51 million. The annual operation and maintenance cost, we see that the values are in parentheses. This means that these values represent revenues. From where does the revenue come from? Where it comes from the offset and savings from not having to purchase electricity because the electricity is generated at the plant. If we look at the Pathway 1 for both centralized and decentralized, this value compared to no pathway increases to a little bit over $2 million. And this is due to having new higher efficiency engines that have a higher output. For Pathway 2, both centralized and decentralized alternative, the values increase a little bit over $4 million, and this revenue comes from the sale of the RNG and also from the sale of the environmental attributes attached to it. Looking at the payback time, it ranges from 10 years, the lowest, to 24 years, the highest, and the lowest being for Pathway 2 RNG decentralized alternative. And also we have the total combined weighted score that it's based on the decision-making criteria, and we can see that the highest score of 3.5 is for Pathway 2 RNG decentralized alternative. So how do we get revenue from Pathway 2 RNG? Well, it's tied to the Renewable Fuel Standards Program that was initiated through the Energy Policy Act in 2005. It is managed by the EPA, and it's used to offset carbon emissions in the transportation sector. Basically, this program obligates, and the policy obligates fossil fuel refineries and importers to purchase a certain amount of renewable attributes, and then producers of renewable fuels, including RNG, produce these attributes called renewable identification numbers, or RINs. In this case, under this pathway, that will be the district. The district would be the producer. The renewable fuel types are divided in 4 categories, where biogas produced at the wastewater treatment plants fall under cellulosic biofuel D3, and the average value for D3 RIN from 2015 through January 2025 was $2.2 per RIN. The last step in the project workflow was to provide a recommendation. So although the dual pathway represents the lowest capital cost, it is not recommended due to significant maintenance requirements, increased operational risk, and limited capacity, and it is unsuitable for long-term planning due to equipment age. Pathway 2, RNG decentralized, is recommended as a preferred pathway due to lower capital costs, significant revenue potential associated with RNG environmental attributes, or RINs, expected reduction in maintenance time by using natural gas for on-site equipment, and the highest combined score of the decision-making criteria. The next steps for the project are that this public hearing is required before submitting the facilities plan to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for approval. Once we receive the letter of approval, the district staff will request formal acceptance of the Heat and Power Improvements Facilities Plan from the Commission. And prior to initiating the design phase, the district will revisit the recommended approach in the future to confirm that the underlying economic evaluation and assumptions made remain valid before proceeding with the implementation of the facilities plan. Thank you.
And with that, we will open the public hearing up for questions and comments from the public. At this time, if there are no members of the public online and there are none in the room to comment, we will hold the space for 10 minutes. We will do another check at 5. And if no comments are made or attendees present to make comments, we will close the public hearing. So with that, are there any attendees online? No. We will hold the room for 10 minutes, and after that, we will announce closure of the public hearing. This is a 5-minute call for comments. We will wait and hold the room open for another 5 minutes and then close the public meeting if there are no attendees wishing to make comments. Hearing no comments and having no attendance from members of the public, we will now close the public hearing for Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District's Heat and Power Facilities Improvements Plan. Thank you.